Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. They made what into a TV series, Castlevania Nocturne, Season 2, Episode 6, Ancestors. I wonder what we're doing here. Directed by Sam Dietz and Adam Dietz as always, but this time written by Zodwa Nayoni, who I understand is a poet. Now, I think this was a really smart idea. They've done this before, and they've gone to someone, I guess, whose culture and background might be able to write a story that's based around Annette's history in a more real, authentic way.
Yeah, it's extremely clever. They've gone for the heritage,
Someone that
clever.
understands that side of things, because I don't, and I watch it with an eye of fascination. I know very little about this side of the world, but I think the way Castlevania uses it and ties it into the greater lore of vampires and monsters and things, I think it's brilliant.
Indeed, yeah, exactly, yeah.
We begin with Juice trying to help Maria regain her light magic. She's struggling and basically still conjuring up dark things, as she's still upset. Every time she tries to focus, we kind of see her focusing on negativity. But he advises her to look deep within her. But she's still so angry, and Juice tells her that she's family, even if she doesn't have the Belmont name. You don't have to have the Belmont name to be a Belmont, so to speak. I mean, look at Alucard. Maria is able to focus on minding those she loves, memories of a young Richter and his whip, Terra watching on, and her winding the young Belmont up. And with this, she's able to bring some light into the world, and it's a happy moment, emotional moment for her, which is really, really sweet. I really like the fact that with the animation of the early Belmont stuff, they go full-on manga with this. We're talking big eyes and all of that. I thought it was an interesting touch.
Again, yeah, so I mean, the design of the creatures is just absolutely fantastic and beautiful, yeah.
Paris, the country, the city in France, is getting ready for a fight, with even citizens preparing for the invasion. Richter and Annette find Alucard and reveal to him, look, we know stuff's gone wrong before, but we have a plan, and we think this one is going to actually work. And we then see them going to a nearby shop as they set this plan in motion. Basically, Annette is going to go into the spirit world, and Alucard and Richter will keep an eye on her body. And it's kind of like, remember, don't get lost in the spirit world, otherwise there's simply no way back. She just won't wake up. And Annette enters the spirit world as Richter and Alucard look on. This is a new angle for the show. Inside the spirit world, Annette is reunited with Cecile and reintroduced to her ancestors. Meanwhile, Alucard and Richter talk about the Belmont connection and how those connections run deeper than either of them really understand. At the same time, Annette is reunited with her mother. It's a sweet reunion, but it's brief because, simply put, Annette is not here for that. She must visit a god called Ogun, who will potentially guide her to Sekhmet's soul. Right, I just want to talk about this scene with Annette, with her ancestors and all that. It's beautiful. The music, man, the way it's shot. I love the way they create the dreamlike imagery around this, the fading, the colors, the vibrancy that exists in this world. It's impressive that they make the spirit world not a frightening place. It's not quite comfortable, but it's not a horror place. It has areas that could be horror related, of course, but it feels like, particularly Annette's visions and where she goes, is a place of comfort that she could almost want to stay if she was weak and like her. She didn't have a mother to encourage her to move on. I think it's beautiful, and I love the music they use.
Yeah, it's I mean, this is me being. I had one of my moments with the goal that she's going to meet the guy who's wielding the hammer, and I thought, do you know what, is that Isaac? That's what I thought at first. I thought maybe she's like a relative or a descendant of his heritage. That's what I thought at first. Obviously, it's not. But
it's an interesting idea. I wonder, not necessarily, I do wonder about the link there that they might actually hold. Not necessarily, what to call it, like heritage, like related kind of thing. But like when we meet Ogun, let's just jump ahead. You know, he is a forge master. He is not sorry, forge master. He is forging a weapon. Now, there are links there. You know, like it's an intriguing idea. I I suspect it's more of a leap. It's probably one of your famous leaps more than anything else.
It's only because obviously in the Castlevania, when you see Isaac's history, he used to be a slave. He was a slave too, like she was. So it's yeah.
100%. But I think that's more down to less about specific cultures, more down to good old fashioned racism. They're
Yeah,
both black
yeah.
characters. Yeah, do you know
Hmm.
what I mean? It's as simple as that. Yeah. Okay, right. As she sets off to search for Ogun in Paris, night has fallen, and Alucard tells Richter, "Look, get some sleep. You're not going to be much good to her if you're exhausted. I'm gonna keep an eye on you. You know, I'm basically used to being awake. It's okay." But Richter asks him a question. He asks Alucard, would he change his lineage if he could? Basically, not be Dracula's son. It's an interesting question for Alucard, and he basically, through so many words, implies to wish that is to erase everything else around that. And I don't know if I would want that. He also mentions again his time in Japan. Honestly, man, like you keep bringing up Japan, mate. You want to show us that? I know a major part of this is based upon games and stuff like that, but like it does feel like they want to eventually do a story of
Yeah.
Alucard's travels in Japan, right?
Hmm.
But he also mentions other times he fought with a Belmont by his side. Yes, there are more Belmonts. It's a fucking lineage, of course. Though his words are lost on Richter, who has fallen asleep. So a little bit of light humor there as Richter has just fallen asleep and is snoring. It did remind me, this speech by Alucard did remind me of like uh his fight with Dracula, you know, and how that ended, and where it ends up obviously in Alucard's childhood room, and Dracula's sort of his giving up moment in that season. Like you forget how strong that shit was.
Yeah, indeed.
Annette goes deep into the forest and finds Ogun, a god forging a mighty shield. It turns out that she discovers her family have prayed to him her entire life, including her lullaby. Her mother's lullaby is a prayer to Ogun. And he reveals that Sekhmet's soul does reside here, and that it's a good soul, one of healing. She was once a just ruler, and that has been forgotten, in particular, obviously, by her disciples. One in particular who has seemingly forgotten it. And this is real life stuff, historical stuff. Sekhmet was considered a just ruler, a
Hmm.
god of healing. Ogre now reveals to Annette that the shield is for her, and he sends her the Sekhmet soul, giving her his blessing, which powers up their shield. So we get some really cool, fantastical stuff here. It's morning, and Richter wakes to find Annette floating in the air. He's startled, but as Alucard points out, look, man, you know, what are you going to do about it? Like, she's fine, she's floating, but what are you going to do? I do love Alucard's matter-of-fact way. It comes with a lifetimes, right, of being alive.
Yep.
They continue to wait, and Alucard reveals that he's clocked their feelings for each other, telling Richter, look, when she comes back, just tell her you love her. He's a bitch about it. He is a real bitch about it. You know, yeah, when we're braiding each other's hair. And he starts doing that, twirling his hair as well.
Yeah.
Why? It was a good question, though. Has Alucard ever been in love? Countless times, he says.
Mm.
That hurts, you know, because it's like, yeah, like he lives forever. He would have lost. It's Highlander shit, isn't it?
Well, you think towards the end of Castlevania, obviously, he has that girl with him in his
Well,
castle. So,
that would have been one of it that we know from our perspective. That would have been at least one of those loves, right?
mhm.
Elsewhere, Elizabeth eats Sekhmet's heart, and this gives her even more power, and she transforms into that, I don't know, that monstrous animalistic creature Sekhmet, that version, and is now able to bring forth another eclipse, a stronger version. And this is causing issues in the spirit world, it seems. Now, we will get an explanation of this later on. It's basically an unbalancing of the scales. But Annette is now attacked by some sort of serpent. And in the a spirit's battle is reflected in her body, which concerns Richter, who tries to comfort her. It's a fight for Annette, but she is able to kill the creature, and her body returns to peace. Her journey finally brings her to an island temple where Sekhmet awaits. Inside, Annette finds her weeping in front of an altar with unbalanced scales. We see those scales are unbalanced, justice and all that kind of thing.
Mm.
And I like the fact that the introduction of Sekhmet is one of her crying. Like, she's trapped there. This soul exists here. And I guess she can't understand why this, you know, it hurts her to see the world unbalanced as it does.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But we also immediately get her power. She's not like, hey, visitor, come and join me. She's not exactly cool about seeing Annette here. Annette tries to tell Sekhmet what Drolta has been doing and what their plan is for her body and her blood. Hearing of the chaos, Sekhmet is furious and attacks Annette, who pleads with her for help. Now, unknown to Annette, she's been followed by a monster. Now, I had to look this up. This monster is called Amit, and it is a part of his, legend again.
Mm.
It arrives and it breaks Sekhmet's hold. Annette goes to fight it, which gives Sekhmet an idea, because Sekhmet kind of sees Annette ready to fight this creature. Hey, I need to balance these scales, and I can't stay here, but I need a host. You seem like you might be able to handle my soul. So she's basically going to invade Annette's body and claim her body and blood, which is I did not see this direction of the show going in.
No, they did. Took me by surprise, though.
Elsewhere, all our other party members see the start of the new eclipse, whereas Richter and Alucard have to witness Annette's body transforming into basically a goddess with the soul of Sekhmet inside. So, powerful, powerful stuff. An intriguing direction, a cool episode. Thoroughly enjoyed it again. I love the focus on Annette here and her part and her history, and how much they blur the lines of reality and fantasy is fantastic,
Yeah, so we discussed it during the episode, but the whole afterlife of the spiritual world was just absolutely fantastic. So the design, the colors, the peacefulness. Yeah.
Yeah, like the exploration. We don't see loads of it, but for example, the water, Sekhmet's temple being on an island, the forest where she finds Ogun. The way they make Ogun seem so grand as well, like a large figure. I love that. And the thing is, these are all variations of gods that exist in other cultures as well. That Ogun will be a variation on a Norse god, for example, and things like that. I find it so interesting. It makes me want to almost read up about it to understand that side of, but it's so deep in detail that it's difficult. And I just appreciate Castlevania Nocturne's respectful approach to it.
Yeah, well, the fact that they hired someone specifically for that history, so.
Yeah, absolutely. We applaud it, and we applaud another fantastic episode. Episode 6 Ancestors. You got any thoughts on this one and want to share? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.